Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. So, Andrew and I worked late into the night last night, and we got the TGBE kits finished. I took photographs and edited those today, got them all listed in the online store, except we're not putting them in the online store yet. So I don't want anyone to have to rush through this video to try to claim any of those. So you can go ahead and claim those later, right? You can watch the video, you can watch all the stuff, and then you can go and claim those. So that's the deal. They will not be in the online store until after this video. That's the same with the new Halloween kit that I wrote about in the description to this video, and also the acrylic and wooden raven pendants that everyone has been interested in. So that's what's going on. We weren't sure if we were going to have any pendants to sell separately, but we do. We actually were able to make some. Andrew stayed up late at night. Look at my hair. My hair is crazy. Andrew stayed up late at night, making sure that we had a few extra. We got a few extra off the laser while we had it working. And so we have the pendants to sell separately, and we have 5 TGBE Fall Fest 2022 kits available, 5 different kits. There are a number of each kit available, so you can grab those. I will be putting those up if you just, a lot of people are just starting to tune in. So if you missed that, we will be putting those in the online store following this video. And I put that in the description too of this video, so hopefully you all saw that. But I like when sometimes, sometimes I like to, you have to go get it right now. But I also sometimes, for these kind of things, I like you to be able to look at them and see them in a video, because photos, photos are better than words, but videos are often better than photos. So we're going to take a look at those kits today. Let's see who's out there. I have Sandra out there. Mary Ann is watching with us. Let's see. Suzanne is with us, and Diane. Sandra, Mary Ann, Suzanne, and Diane. So how are y'all doing? What day is today? It's Thursday. So it's Thursday. I hope you're having a good Thursday. Happy autumn equinox, right? This is, I love autumn. I love fall. It is my favorite season. We are very lucky to live in an area where we experience seasons, and fall is by far my favorite. The spring, probably my next. It's probably fall, spring, winter, summer for me. That's my, how do the seasons work out for you? What are your favorites? What's your order of the seasons? Mine would be fall, spring, winter, summer. Summer's my least favorite. I'm very pale. I don't like the sun. It's always too hot. I sweat too much. No good. So summer's my least favorite, but yeah, I love fall, and I'm excited for fall. Today I got up, fed the cats, opened all the windows in the house because it's been, been a little bit, not crazy warm today. I don't think that's it. My watch is saying it's 59 degrees right now only. Maybe that's true. I don't know. That's wild if it is. It is a little bit chilly out there, but it's beautiful. It's a sunny day, slightly overcast. It's varying between overcast and sunny. There is a breeze. Sometimes the breeze is strong. Sometimes the breeze is not so strong. But it is a beautiful fall day. Woke up, fed the cats, opened all the windows in the house. We had the air conditioners running, and then I woke up because it was humid last night. Because Andrew said we drove home last night. There were high winds and storms in the distance, leaves falling all over the road, which is pretty. But it got humid with the rain. So we closed the windows up last night and turned on the air conditioner to keep the humidity down. And this morning I opened everything back up because it was so bright and so fresh and so, like, it had that fall smell to it. If you have fall, you might know what I'm talking about. Those trees starting to drop their leaves and things are starting to decay a little bit. It has that good smell, that good energy, I think. Let's see. Marianne says, same order as you. Nice. Norma says, hey, William, my order is exactly the same as yours. Nice. Suzanne switched it up a little bit. Fall, winter, spring, summer. That was the thing. I wasn't sure. You know, winter could pull ahead of spring sometimes, depending on what it's like and what's going on. But generally, I have to say I like the kind of the fall, which is decaying season and heading into winter, and then the beginning and the restart of things. I like the fall and spring dichotomy, that interesting, things are starting to really transition. Winter and summer, I've always liked winter. When I was a kid, we grew up by a little lake, and there was definitely, even though it was a small lake, there was definitely that kind of lakefront idea that it got a lot colder there. We got a lot more snow than some other places did. So my brother and I would always get bundled up in our snowsuits and go out and play in the snow. So I do like winter a lot. Marion says it's 66 up there. Yeah, I guess it's 59 here. My watch is usually pretty close, and it said it was supposed to go as high as 72 today, but I don't think I don't think we ever got near that. Suzanne says 94 here. That is no way. No way, Jose. Yeah, and I think y'all are getting some crazy possible weather, right? I heard something about that. Marianne says nope, it gets to the negative 20s there. Yeah, we get into the negatives, but we don't usually get that negative. Negative 10 probably is about the lowest we usually go. Donna says, it's so hot in Alabama today. We've got a cold front moving in. Yay, I'm so ready for fall. Thank you for joining us, Donna. I am ready for fall too. Andrew says, winter is not for me. Maybe around the holidays, but I feel like I have no energy. Maybe winter in the desert. I don't mind the cold now, but wet socks and no sun is not for me. Yeah, I do get seasonal affective disorder sometimes, and that happens in the winter when it's not a sunny winter. But I still prefer it to summer. I still prefer it to summer. Suzanne says, we are looking at the Gulf for a hurricane. That's what I thought. No good. That's no good. No good. Robin says 94 degrees there and super gross humid. See, we're having a lovely day. I spent the day, though, taking pictures inside, listing items inside, working on like tax my brain spreadsheets. So I barely got outside. I took some of the pictures outside though, when it was a little bit overcast and not too much sun. And then the sun came out and all my pictures started getting too bleached out and too many shadows and stuff. So I didn't get to see outside very much today, but I'm hopeful. I might have to go home and mow some grass anyway, so that'll get me out a little bit. Let's see here. Diane says, Chris came home and I'm feeding the dog, so I have been in and out. Are we rating seasons? Yeah, we are. I said my favorites are fall, spring, winter, summer, and in that order. So I'm asking what everyone else's are. What's your order? Cheryl says, hi all, 60 in Milwaukee area, headed to the lakefront for a walk. Love this weather. Me too. 59 here, just about the same. We got a little bit of sun, a little bit of wind. I like this weather a lot. Dawn is not summer or winter. Don't like those extremes at all. Let's see, Andrew says, the thing I like about summer is all the fresh produce. That's true. That's true. Local fresh produce, that's a nice thing. I do like that. There are things I like about summer. I just don't like summer. Can you do that? Can you like things about something but not the actual thing? I guess just like people, you like some things about some people, but you don't like them in general. That happens too, right? Barbara says it's 60 where she lives in Michigan. Nice. 72 here, says Norma. Sunny and perfect. 70s are great. 70s are great. I like the 70s. Unless they hit 78, 79, then that's not so great. All right. So what else is going on? What's happening for you all out there? Any interesting news going on? Anything happening? We try and ask you questions every once in a while and see how everyone, just check in on everyone. Julie says, same order for me too. Going to be over 100 plus here today. I'm over it. I get it. I get it. It's grilled pizza night at Connections. Only a few more chances before they close up for pizza season. We just had pizza last night. You want more pizza? More pizza? I'm still recovering from all the pizza I ate yesterday. I'm starting to eat too much, y'all. It happens when the weather starts to get a little bit colder. I start packing on the food. Does anyone else do that? When the weather starts to get a little bit chillier, you feel okay eating more. Um, I've been eating too much. Since COVID, since I've been rebounding, like during COVID, we weren't that hungry. Um, but since rebounding, I have been packing on the food, packing on the weight. So I need to start exercising a little bit again. I got out of that habit. Really, truthfully, I got out of that habit when we went up north for the SNAG conference, and I just never got really back into it. It was really hard to get into it. Babette passed away. So that really took, the wind out of all of our sails. Still is a hard thing to even talk about. I don't talk about it much. We don't talk about it too much because it's hard. And so I never really got back into exercising, and I need to because I've been eating way too much and a lot of carbs, pastas and pizzas and, all that stuff that makes you feel warm inside. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. Marion says, depends. The weather affects so much, but fresh fruits are nice. Yes. Donna went out to eat with some close friends to Peach Park, and we had so much fun. Nice. Diane says, you can never have too much pizza. I always want bread when it's cold, right? I'm not even that much of a bread person. Like growing up, we had stuff like that, I guess. We had a lot of pasta because it was inexpensive and it was fast for my mom. She was mostly a single mother. And but when I would go out to eat and when we would choose things, and growing up, and even when I got older and went to college, I didn't eat a lot of breads or pastas or things like that. I was meat and potatoes. And then now that we went vegetarian, now I eat more pasta and I eat more bread. And I do kind of like bread. Especially a really good, baguette or warm, crusty bread with lots of butter. So, yeah, so we've been eating a lot of that kind of stuff. Andrew says, I guess it's soup weather. I do like soup during this time too. Soup weather. This is soup weather. This is good. Soup and stews. Maybe stews hit maybe a little bit more toward winter, but definitely soup weather. We haven't really ate a lot of soup. We had some soup when we had COVID because it was easier to eat and keep down, but it's ready for soup time, I think. Jody says her favorites are fall, spring, summer, and winter. I'm going to flip that summer and winter there. Fall is my favorite, even though it's way too short. I love the colorful leaves. Me too. Fall often does get, truncated, it seems like. Fall doesn't get its full beauty shown most of the time. And with the winds that are happening right now and some of the weather, as Andrew said, the leaves are starting to be pushed out of the trees before they even get a chance to change. So I'm hopeful that we get some pretty trees. There's a trail here called Wolf Rock that I like to go on. Andrew, I think, likes to go on too in the fall because it's beautiful to hike through the forest. And I think it's about 3 or 4 miles, 2.5 miles, maybe something each way. So it's a pretty nice long walk. Takes some time to do. You have to, you just set that time aside and do it. But when you get to the end, well, I guess the halfway point, because you got to turn around, because it's just straight, it's one way and then completely back. But when you get to the end of the whatever, you get out onto these rocks, and these rocks overlook like the whole mountainside, which we have kind of soft mountains here. We have the rolling mountains. We don't have the spiky, tall. We have the worn down mountains. There are the old mountains that have been worn down over centuries or millennia. But they have, on a good fall day, you see all the colors of all the trees, and you're standing tall on these rocks, and you're looking down over the hill and up over the other mountainside, and it is beautiful. So when the trees start to really turn around here, which I hope they do this year, I hope that we get to go out and do that, because I think that would be nice. Donna says, I love to eat homemade soups when it gets cold, right? Andrew says, they're a hug from the inside, right? Homemade chicken noodle soup or chicken soup, says Marianne. Can't eat chicken. I can't eat chicken. I do miss chicken soup. Chicken noodle soup, My grandmother made some good, both grandmothers actually made some really good chicken noodle soup. Hello, Teresa. Thank you for joining in. And my comments just skipped a lot. Sandra says it's 91 today in Miami. Whew. Andrew says, I love a good bread. Robin says, I was just typing that. Cynthia says, same. I love fancy toast, right? Get some nice crispy bread and put on some tomatoes and some, balsamic and maybe mozzarella and roast it in the oven a little bit. That's good. I love roasting tomatoes because a lot of times tomatoes are hitting right now. We have some volunteer tomato plants that have flowers on them right now. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to produce anything. I don't know if they'll have time. It depends. If we have a really long fall, they might produce something. But I love when we have tomatoes. You roast them in the oven with a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar, a little bit of balsamic, and just roast them in there and then put them on nice crunchy, soft bread. Crunchy outside, soft in the center. Oh, so good. Add some mozzarella or some kind of cheese. Really good. Diane says soup is good too. Let's see here. Barnaby hates winter. He doesn't get to go outside. It's too cold. It's too cold for his little paws. So he doesn't get to go outside very much. He does not like the winter. And he's a little boy. He's skinny. Skinny mini. So the cold really affects him. So he's not a winter fan, but we do get lots of cuddles when winter happens. Cynthia says that Beams Rock Trail is going to be great when we come up there for Fort Days. Yeah, hopefully Cynthia is going to be here for Fort Days and have some stuff at a booth. So that'll be great. And that Beams Rock Trail, that's a nice trail too. It does get up onto rocks and overlook a little bit, but it's mostly in the woods, which is really nice too. So if you want to stay in the woods a little more, like that one too. Let's see. Oops, jumped again. Susan says, I'm addicted to carbs, right? It is true. You can get addicted to it. My boss in New York, one of my bosses, the owners of the French boutique I worked for, said that you can get candida, which is in your gut. And if you grow that in your gut, it can make you want to eat the breads. So that can happen. That can happen. Andrew says, I usually like Spruce Flats Bog. Yeah, that's right next to Wolf Rock Trail. And Spruce Flats Bog has Sarracenia and pitcher plants and cranberries and, kind of those carnivorous plants, which is really cool to see. And it does get really pretty in the fall with all the trees changing colors around and the bog in the foreground. It's really pretty. Susan says, I love the early morning and late afternoon golden light. Yes, nothing like that, right? Although I don't usually see the early morning one unless it's from the other side of the clock. Marion says, no noodles in my chicken soup. See, that's good, I guess. That's all protein, none of those carbs, right? Okay, William, stop talking about bread, says Donna, right? Cindy says, well, now that we discovered lion's mane mushrooms, it can replace chicken, right? Lion's mane is good for that. And chicken mushroom is good for that as well. We didn't pick any chicken mushroom this year. I didn't really see any. Let's see here. Susan says, the sudden weather changes are hard on my system. Yesterday it was 96. Today it's 71. That is hard. It is hard when things change so quickly, right? I think growing up here, I kind of got used to things changing quickly because we do have some, it swings one way or the other, and it can swing at any moment. It can be summer and you start to get down in the 60s and it's so weird. And then 98 the next day. It's really weird. Let's see here. Now I am getting hungry, says Mary. Me too. Wonder why, right? Wonder why. Donna says, my local orchard is already closed for the year. Got apples to eat, some for a pie, and some tomatoes. Nice. Nice. Apple cider starts coming out now, like real hand-pressed local apple cider, which I'm excited for. Suzanne says, my pastel calico only sleeps with us in the winter, right? When it gets cold enough, they cuddle. They cuddle. Andrew says, I usually go to the bog on my birthday. Andrew's birthday is coming up in 3 days, everyone. 3 days. We have 2 different fundraisers that are out. You can help us, hopefully, get an incinerator toilet for Star Cottage Studio. That's on my timeline. or you can donate to Beads of Courage through Andrew's timeline. So if you want to help Andrew out for his birthday, either one of those you can do. Let's see here. Oh, Marion says, well, there are potatoes and corn. That's good. That's okay, right? Norma says, have to go to an appointment. I'll catch the replay. Thank you, Norma. These items are going to go right into the online store following this video. I just have to go in, tweak a few things, and set them loose. Set them loose. Andrew says, too many people know about it now, the chicken mushrooms. I used to find them every once in a while, but haven't found them this year. Only the places where people cut them. Chicken mushroom is my favorite. Yeah, you can find us in the wild. They're very easy to tell what they are. So, it's easy not to, get the poisonous mushroom. They're really easy to tell because they are a bright orange color and they grow on certain trees. Deciduous trees, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And they use them, you can use them like in chicken salads and things like that because they do tear just like a chicken does. Kind of like a chicken does, right? Like the meat does. Susan loves apple cider. Me too. Always apple cider over pumpkin spice. And I know I'm going to start a war probably on that, but always apple cider over pumpkin spice. If you're going to offer me anything, I'm going to take the apple cider. You offer me those two, it's always going to be apple cider. I'm not a pumpkin spice fan. I like it in pumpkin pies sometimes when they're not over spice, but I definitely like apple cider over pumpkin spice. Teresa said, we lost power today for several hours, worried about the refrigerator and sump pump. That's terrible. Our power blinked here at the store. It went completely off and then came back on. And that sometimes happens in Ligonier often. But luckily, knock on wood, we don't usually lose power for more than a few minutes. In the time that we've lived here, I can count probably easily on one hand, probably half one hand, the number of times we lost power for like an hour or more. Donna says, yeah, you have to go to Tennessee for the really good apple cider. I don't know. I don't know. Apples are pretty good up here too. I don't know. I've never been to the Tennessee to get cider, so might just have to do that sometime when we're passing by to go down to Asheville sometime, right? Andrew says, I like giant puffballs too, and hericium. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Yeah, those are all good. Puffballs in the yard, eating the puffballs. They are good when they're fresh. They are good when they're fresh. Marion says, yes to cider. Suzanne says, we have a generator, but yeah, running the generator all the time is not great either, right? Teresa says, apple cider simmering with cinnamon sticks, cloves, and nutmeg. It's good stuff, right? Good stuff. All right, now that we've talked about all great things fall, let's start looking at some of these kits, all right? So if you do me a favor, hit that share button right now. No one's going to be able to get these before you necessarily, so please hit the share button. They're going to be released in the online store following this video. So everything I'm showing you right now, not going to be available until after this video, probably about 10, 15 minutes or so, if that. After this video ends, I will have them in the online store, okay? Excuse me. So let's start looking, all right? Yeah, let's take a look. Why not? Let me flip the camera around here. You're going to see the ceiling for a little bit, our wonderful drop ceiling. Probably seeing that tile that Andrew can't stand. That's torn. Yep, there it is. There it is. Where is it? Right there. See that? Andrew says, don't point it out. I can hear him saying it right now. Don't point it out. What are you doing? All right. Let me get this close. Oh, well, maybe I'll get it close. What's going on here? There we go. The legs were in the wrong place. Legs were in the wrong place. And now I can't get it turned right. Wow. Okay. You'd think I'm new at this or something. All right. My throat's getting better. You can probably tell I'm and coughing less than I have been. So my throat is, I think, starting to get better. It's taking a while, but I'm getting less and less caught in my throat as the days go on. So what we're going to look at first today, we're going to look at this new Halloween kit. This new Halloween kit. Oh, Andrew's saying, I love apple cider too. I had an apple cider cake and it was delicious. Slightly caramelized on top and had those slightly burnt notes. Not like burnt, but like that buttery, slightly bitter, sweet topping. Yes, I like it. I like it. Okay, so in this, this Halloween kit, Andrew worked on this, threw this together. You know, like it's so easy. You just threw it together, right? Andrew works hard at making these kits. We were working on them, and you know, there's some parts to making kits that, you know, sometimes it's fun. There are parts that are very fun, and then there are parts that are not fun at all. And I'm going to tell you about some of those not fun parts, so that you know what we go through to make these. So these here are seed beads. They're bugle seed beads in black. So you get a little bag of those. You saw the bag they came out of. And then you get all this, all of this. So look at, there we go. So look at this. These are wonderful Czech Glass, and they have that coppery and black color to them. One of the not fun things is oftentimes when some of these old strands, like some of this stuff is old, some of these are vintage things. And when we use vintage things, sometimes we buy those in like hanks, right? If you don't know what a hank is, it is when you get a whole chunk of the strands. Instead of just one strand at a time, they usually come sometimes 12 at a time or 10 at a time, 8 at a time. That's called a hank. So the hanks are sometimes not tied, right? So these may be hanging together like this, and they look like they're tied, like they'll hang like this, but there'll be like 12 of them. And when you take out the piece that's holding everything together, they're not tied together. So you got to tie each one of these individually. And you hope, like this one has some nice length on it, right? This has some nice length, but sometimes they're so tiny that you're like working with like this much string to try and tie them. Sometimes when that happens, as I might show you later on. Oh no, I think this one, the sample we did is fine. I started putting them in bags. I'm like, this is a strand, but it's going in a bag because there is no way I'm going to sit here and tie these tiny little strings together because my hands, you know, they're pretty big. And Andrew, Andrew says it was driving William crazy. Yeah, it was driving me crazy because I have pretty big hands and I'm sitting here tying things that are like, you have this much thread to try and tie a knot with to make the strand. And Andrew handed me some tolls. And I'm like, what in the world am I supposed to do with these tolls? Like, I can't even get this string around this other string. How is this toll going to help me? I'm not the most proficient with tolls. Andrew, he's like, he's often telling you to use the tolls and not your hands for things. And I totally disobey. And I use my hands for a lot of stuff. And so Andrew said he's not got the patience for it. It's true. If you know me, if you kind of know me, you may see me as a very patient and, easygoing person. Give me something like this that, you have to sit in one place and do like 100 of these. You will see my patience wear thin by about number 2 because I just don't. I'm one of those people. I'm very good at starting a project and, getting something started for somebody and moving on to something else. Or, when we're in classes, I can help design stuff and move on to someone else. But to actually sit and do the same thing over and over and over and over with no feeling of end, that for me is like pure torture. So these strands, because they're vintage and they come in these hanks, they take a lot of patience to do sometimes. So Andrew is like a saint compared to me when it comes to doing these type of things. Andrew said I told him to go because he was funking up my energy. I was just like, I wanted to help, but it was not that much help. I know that. Nancy says, you need me. I'm excellent at that gig. Yeah, because I don't have that kind of patience. That's not me. It's never been me. If something takes too long to do, I often give up. It's one of the bad things about my personality, but it's something that I've learned to just, it's me. I do not have patience for some things. Now, if I get in the zone with something, like certain things, I can do it forever, but not this kind of stuff. There's a little story about that too. You also get this. This is Chinese ceramic. I'm going to try and talk to you a little bit about the kit as I go on and talk about my family stories. We used to do the dishes when we were kids. And sometimes, if we had friends over or family over, there would be a lot of dishes, right? And we didn't have a dishwasher because we didn't have room for one. We had a small house. And we, as kids, my brother and I would do the dishes. And I would like fill up a sink full of dishes. And as I did them, I would let the sink empty. And that way I got at least since there was a lot to do, I got this feeling that I accomplished something because I would empty a sink, right? You would empty the sink and then you could put more in and start another sink full of dishes, right? This is an AG fine pewter skull. Pretty nice, huh? In antique silver. So when my mom sometimes would see me doing this, before the sink was emptied, she would come by and fill it up. And she's like, those dishes need to soak before you clean them. So instead of waiting for them to soak later, let them soak while you're working on other dishes. And it made me crazy, absolutely crazy, because I got no sense of accomplishment in between all of these dishes to keep me going. And if I don't get a sense of accomplishment in between things, it makes me insane. So that's my story. That's what doing these strands does to me. It's just like strand after strand after strand after strand. And it makes me crazy if there's not like a break. Like, okay, I did all of these. Good. That I did. I accomplished something. Oh, we did one kit. I accomplished something. But when it takes too long, not my thing. Anybody out there like that? Or do y'all got great patience? I don't. I admit it. So this is the Halloween kit. Pretty cool, right? So you get the Czech glasses, all Czech glass in here. You get the Chinese ceramic. And you get the AG fine pewter skull right there in antique silver. So that is going to be in the online store following this broadcast. Let's see here. Jody says, I put on music to do the dishes. Andrew says, I turn on a book on tape and it's easy. Yeah, it doesn't make it any easier for me. I'm glad it does for you. But for me, watching TV for me does help because it's a visual thing and it does sometimes take my mind off it. But music and things like that, just auditory things, do not help my patience. TV does sometimes. TV does, and I don't know why. I think it's because when I grew up, my mom and I would do things like cooking and cutting vegetables, and we'd watch TV while we did it. And I'm going to try and get this. Andrew says they got sexy times last night in his book. Ah, see, I was waiting. He had headphones in, so I didn't walk in on the sexy times on his book because that's usually the part of Andrew's book that I will walk in on whenever I do. Anytime it's the sexy times in his book. Comments jumped. Sorry about that. Diane says, I find doing stuff like that enjoyable. I'd love to help you guys. I just can't find the time. I get it. We get it. We know. See, it's not enjoyable to me. I'm more fast-paced. I like things to happen quicker. But I am I'm trying to change a little bit, I am trying to realize that things are about the journey and less about the destination, but I'm very much a destination person. It is my way. I was blessed that I do tend to find things pretty easy to do. Like, it doesn't take me long to learn new things, or in most cases, and I'm pretty good at things when I start them. And I think because of that, because things generally come fairly easy, not everything, not everything for everyone, but I've been blessed that way, and school was pretty easy for me in a lot of cases. And so when things don't come easy, or when I get stalled out on something, it makes me a little bit, I'm not used to that. And I know that sounds probably like I'm bragging or something, but it is just the way it happens, right? let's see here. Whoops. These comments keep jumping and I can't find out where I am. Marianne says, I hated it when someone dropped something into the sink without asking and people using their plate as an ashtray. Ooh, yeah. Growing up, we didn't smoke in our house. No one in my house smoked, but we had relatives that sometimes did. And that, to me, was disgusting because I just wasn't used to it, right? Andrew says, when I listened to Twilight, William was always walking in when Bella was begging for the times, the sexy times. Susan says, that's why I was so glad when we bought our home, it came with a dishwasher. Me too, Susan. Me too. Because I'm not, I don't mind doing dishes sometimes, but it's one of the least favorite. Dishes and laundry, those things you have to do over and over and over in life. Not so much fun. Not so much fun. Okay, so let's look at these finally debuted kits for the TGBE Fall Fest? I just blanked on the name. Fall Fest, right? Yeah, Fall Fest 2022. Andrew says, in classes, William, just picks things up and it's so easy for him. For me, I struggle through it and I am a slow learner. Once I get it, though, it locks in place. Yeah, we were talking about this. Like in school, I absorbed things pretty quickly and could do them fairly easily. But I have, because of that, less long-term retention. Andrew has to struggle through it at the beginning and work hard at it to get it done, but he has much longer term, it sets in longer term for him. He retains it better that way. And that's just, if you need somebody to pick something up quickly and do it quickly and get it done and not have to worry about it again, that's where I come in. If you need somebody who you need to remember how to do this and it's going to be something you're going to do over and over and over again, that's where Andrew comes in. That's, and I think we complement each other in a lot of ways like that. He's more adventurous in his planning and his thinking for the business, and I'm more conservative. He was talking about that a little bit on his live the other day. So we complement each other, which is good. But yeah, it does make some people crazy because I was always good at things pretty quickly. But if I had to do them for a long time or it got monotonous, that's not me. So you get these antique seed beads, vintage or antique. Andrew can point it out. Vintage or antique seed beads. You get a little baggie of those, which is, I think, a strand of those because they're old. They're not done in tubes. They were done in strands. So we just put them in bags because, again, some of those are hard to tie. And then in this one, that's a long strand. That one had lots of strand to tie. You get these very flashy, very fun. I think these are fire polished, right? Fire polished Czech glass. Let's see. Susan's saying, I'm a slow learner too. My brain has to learn and work through whatever system is in place until I have it down pat. Yeah, see, some people do that, and you probably remember things longer than I do. But like I said, I'm one of those people, if you need something done quick, picked up quickly and done quickly and get it over with, that's where like my kind of skill comes in, I think. So then you get this long strand of graduated Czech glass. And then of course you get our Raven pendant in matte black on one side, and if you want to flip it to the other, you got the glossy side. If you wanted them both to match, you could sand this side down a little bit, or you could sand it down if you wanted to apply, like Andrew has shown you, to apply color or apply, surface techniques to them. You'd want to sand that down a little bit, but this side is ready. Nice matte. I love that matte black. I wish both sides were matte actually, but that's not the way it comes. And then you get these two lovely pieces of Czech glass. These are a little different than all the other ones. And then you get this toggle, the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter toggle, right there. Marianne's a quick learner who retains long term. That's lucky. That's lucky. Some things I can retain. I guess it depends on my interest. Like when I was in school and I really wasn't interested in something, I would study it, learn it, take the test, and dump it. But Things that I'm really interested in, like languages and things that I learn about the brain. And usually I learn pretty quickly, and I do retain a lot of that. It just depends on the interest level. But as far as doing monotonous things over and over again, no, thank you. Not my thing. Never really had to do that much, thankfully. So Lorraine says, love this kit. Me too. All mostly black with these kind of gunmetal seed beads. This kit, I believe this is going to be kit number 1. It's going to be TGBE Fall Fest 2022 kit number 1, inspiration kit number 1, I think. I think I have these in order. So there you go. Let me actually check on that, because do I have these in order? I do. This is kit number 1. So TGBE Fall Fest 2022 inspiration kit number 1. When it goes online, it will be available. These are limited number because these are vintage things. So there are not tons of anything available, right, everybody? So do make sure if you see something you love, you go to the online store after this video is over and get them. And that's why I wanted to do this, so you didn't have to rush and make split-second decisions. You can watch this video and take your time and decide what you want and get them after, right? Susan says, love the goth vibe of this kit, right? Very cool. Andrew says, I thought of Azalea when I put this kit together. Yes, Azalea likes that goth vibe too. Love the Raven, says Jody. Good, because you're going to see the Raven. If you haven't seen our other videos, you're going to see the Raven in multiple colors. All right? It's going to be fun times. And these Ravens also, there are a limited number, a very limited number of these available separately. All right? So if you don't want to get the whole kit, you can get the Raven. But if you see the Ravens in the online store, because they might pop up first because they're newer, technically newer, just know that you don't have to buy the Raven and the kit separately. The kits come with the Ravens, or you can buy the Ravens separately. All right? Get in there, get in there. Marianne says, needs a touch of red. I bet we have a red inspiration kit you could add to this, right? We have a red inspiration kit you could add to this if you need it. I'm sure you have beads though, red beads, Marianne. You can definitely add whatever you want. These are, like I said, we call these inspiration kits because they are here to give you a little boost of inspiration, but doesn't mean you have to make everything out of just the one kit. All right, this one, check that one out. Did you see this one? Beautiful. Beautiful. Andrew says, whenever I take a class, I usually make a raven or a bird. It's easier for me when I don't have to come up with a new, fresh idea every time. Yeah, and it's really cool to see Andrew's, over the years as he's taken classes, he's made a lot of different raven bird stuff, and it's really cool to see the differences too over time. So I would highly recommend that if you do take classes and that, find something that you really like and have that as your inspiration every time, because it's cool to see the progress. This is very sparkly. Marianne says, of course I have red beads, LOL, right? Right? I know you got lots of stuff, Marianne. Susan says, sparkly. It is sparkly. So here we have this one, and it is sparkly on both sides, so you can face it either way. This side I think is more sparkly. You can see there's a divide. I don't know if you can see that on here, but there's a layer of sparkle that sits kind of halfway through, and then it's more clear on top. So if you want a little bit less of the sparkle, I think you can do this side. A little bit more, if you want a little bit more, you can do it this way. I like it this way. That's the way we designed it. Then you get these, which these are kind of a gray, I almost want to say a green gray, but they're not. I don't know. They're a gray. They're a gray seed bead, vintage seed bead. Sorry. Which kit would go with fluorite, says Suzanne. I'm gonna say there are a few, depending on if you have more purple in your fluorite, or more greenish colors in your fluorite. You'll see. You'll see. Andrew said, this one was surprisingly difficult to match beads to this. I'd find the perfect ones, and we'd only have a few of them. Yeah, when we do these kits, we try to do like a certain number. And so I think we have 10 of each of these kits. So we try to do, like the same number. So Andrew, he could have found beads maybe that were more perfectly matching, but you could have gotten like 2 kits out of it. So it's not worth putting 2 kits together. Grayeen, says Susie, right? Grayeen, exactly. You get this strand of beautiful, beautiful, sparkly Czech glass. You get these 2 gorgeous beads. They have that silver and purple kind of gray, purple, gray, silver, purple color to them. So you get 2 of those. You get this purpley silver Czech glass. And then you get this, this is the, I think it's called, yeah, this is the Bali toggle from the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter line. This is an antique silver. So you get that, all of that in this kit. And this kit will be available in the online store following this video. Again, this will also be available separately if you want to just purchase the pendant. We hope you like the kits, but maybe you want to mix and match pendants, or maybe you don't like the way we paired the pendants, so you want to match something else, or you just want to pick up some extra pendants. So they'll be available as well. All right. Now, these are our TGBE kits. So this is for Fall Fest. I think it's October 22nd is our day. I'm pretty sure. Let me look. October 22nd. So that's exactly 1 month from now. So if you get this kit, get it before, so we have time to ship it to you and you have it for the TGBE. And I believe Andrew is planning on doing some demonstrations. He's going to make some samples of things and work with you. I think during the TGBE, we still haven't decided, but I'm pretty sure this is the plan. He's going to show you how to make some stuff with these kits. So you can make your own stuff with them if you want, but Andrew's also going to show you some ideas during the TGBE. Andrew said, originally I put this together with green and it kind of turned Christmas. I could see how that could happen, right? Because there's like green and red in this, and if you get too wild, you end up Christmas. Which I wouldn't have minded, but it's not really the time of the year for that now, is it? Cynthia says, I like what you picked. I like what you picked too. I had some input on some of these. He usually asks me, once he gets kind of everything together, he has a few choices, he asks me what I think. But he narrows it down for me because he knows that I do not do well with large chunks of information, right? Pare it down for me, and then I can tell you which ones I like better. I sound a little bit high maintenance sometimes, don't I? I don't know if I'm sounding like that just to everybody or just to myself, but Andrew says, finally, you understand. I hope I'm not too high maintenance. All right. Diane says, I like the purple. Well, Diane, if you like purple, get ready. Here's some purple. Here's some purple. Now, I named this pendant in the online store. It's going to be called Sunset because it kind of has those deep purples and pinks and blues that remind me of sunset. So Andrew didn't name this one for me, so I just called it Sunset. Some of these, like this, the one I just showed you, that one's going to be called Dark Rainbow. The pendant itself will be called Dark Rainbow in the online store, so you know that color that you're looking for. There's pictures too. But Andrew says, you are. It's okay. Me too, right? It's okay to be high maintenance sometimes. We just like what we like. And as we get older, we like even more what we like, right? I think that's the way it is. Diane says, so far, I need all of these, LOL. Right? Right? Are the pendants able to be worn as earrings? Too big, too heavy? They are definitely not too heavy, Sylvia. Big would be your kind of choice. Just to give you an idea. Actually, we were deciding whether we wanted smaller or larger ones of these, and Azalea actually wanted to have us print the larger ones so she could wear them as earrings. So, the kids these days are wearing large earrings. This is about 2 inches by about 1.25 inches. All right, so that's about the size of them. Andrew says, I would have called this mulberry juice. Probably good idea too. But it just reminded me of a sunset, so I called it sunset. It's going to be hard to pick as they're all so great. Get a few, Jody. Get a few. It's okay. No, but I know not everyone can do that. But we do hope you like these. So here is sunset / mulberry. And this one, again, you can do both ways. It's glittery on both sides. Again, glittery a little bit more on one side than the other. You can maybe, kind of, I don't know. Not really, not too much. Susan says, I'm with the kids. I love statement making earrings. If I wore earrings, I would too. I would too. I like statement pieces. Then these are some of the most beautiful seed beads I have seen in a long time. Look at those. Look at those. That's, Suzanne says, depends on the price. I've gotten a lot from AG already. That's the one reason these are going to be a little bit delayed. I have to talk with Andrew about some of the prices on some of these things that he put together. So I got to check out some of those things first, some of the costs and stuff. And then we'll get those right up after this video as soon as I do that. So these, I don't know if you can see that, but they match the colors. Andrew did a great job because they match the colors in these pretty perfectly. You have some that berry color, the blue, the pinks, the purples. Beautiful seed beads. Then you have this gigantic strand. This is a big strand. Look at that. This is a 21-inch strand. 21-inch strand of the Czech Glass in this flash. There you go. Sylvia says, thank you. Also, small may not have shown the great design. This is actually the smaller one. We were going to have this as a larger pendant. Andrew wanted to make it larger. But because the laser, the way it was, we wanted to get as many of these out while it was working. So we made the smaller version. And I liked the smaller version myself. But, you know, it happened. You get what you get, right? Get what you get. No, really, I think this is a good size. I think too much bigger, and you would have had to be one of those people that really like statement pieces, whereas this, I think, blends in for more people. Diane says, those seed beads are amazing, right? They are. They are. Oh, these are crystal, Andrew said. They're crystal. See? Not Czech Glass. Crystal. I got to update that listing, apparently. And then you get these. Whoops, as I throw them. So these have that silvery and purple color to them as well. So you get two of those. Then you get the swirls toggle from the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter collection. Get that in the antique silver color. Cindy says, I want to design with all of these, especially that sunset mulberry, right? I like it. I like it. So he says, oh, yeah, this is a smaller one. Could have gone bigger. Could have gone bigger. Andrew says, let's do it, Cynthia, next time you're up. And then you get this strand of these light kind of purple, light purple gray Czech Glass beads. So you get that. That's that kit. Pretty nifty, right? Pretty nifty. All right, let me put these back. Let me do this so you can look at those while I'm doing this at least, right? You don't have to look at my hands filling the beads. Those seed beads are juicy, delicious. Juicy and luscious, says Sylvia. Yes, I agree. Oh, and I looked at the comments instead of looking at the bag. I spilled some seed beads. I'll pick them up. This will be our version, so you don't think you're going to miss out on some seed beads. Donna says, I love those purples. Yeah, and these are drooks, I should say. Andrew pointed that out. These are drooks, which are rounds. That's what Czech Glass is called when they're round. They're called drook, D-R-U-K. All right, let me put these in the bag. We have 2 more kits to go, everyone. How much fun is this? I love debuting new kits. Kitapalooza was quite the time. And if you are looking for accessory kits, please do check out the rest of our kit collection, because we made a lot of kits for Kitapalooza, and some of them are still available. Some of them are still available. Okay, next up, first, check out these seed beads. They are luscious too, but in a different colorway. These are more blue with the pinks and purples in them. Some greens and even gold in there, yellow in there. So look at those. If you like the blue colors, that's nice. That's nice. And then this one has some purples, but also some blues. So this is the Midnight. Andrew called this I think that's what he called it. That's what I called it. The Midnight Pendant. And these are Czech seed beads, by the way. So this is the Midnight Raven Pendant with that sparkly bluish purple colors to it. So it's nice and blue. When you look at it, sometimes it looks purple, sometimes it looks blue. It has a little bit of both in there. So you have a blue and purple combination kit. With this one, you're going to get a gold toggle, because I picked that out because you get these drooks too, and there's some gold in those, but mostly we wanted to give, some people, not everyone wants silver. Some people want the gold. So you see some of the gold hints in that. So I said, let's try at least one gold toggle. All right, so we did one gold toggle, and this is the rope toggle from the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter Collection in antique gold. The rope toggle in antique gold. And if you want any of these toggles or more of them, the ones in these kits, they are also hyperlinked in the descriptions of each of these kits. So we list the components in each kit, and then I hyperlinked other things that we sell. So you can get these, and you'll see the hyperlink if you want to buy more of those. They are available separately. And then we got these, which have this blue and purple combination. Perfect coordinating pieces. And then you have these. And are these crystal or Czech glass, Andrew? Which ones are these? Teresa says peacock color. Yeah, right? It's a fun contrast, says Andrew. They are. They are. So you get these two. These are crystal. I thought they were crystal, which means I have to update the description for those too, because I was just calling them Czech glass. Sometimes I just get into the zone and I don't actually, sometimes I don't look close enough. So these are crystal as well. All right. So I got to remember, I got to keep this one out and I got to keep this one out, because where all these have crystal, they all have crystal, right? No, that's Czech glass. Lorraine says, I can tell I'm going to have trouble choosing a kit. They're all beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. I like it when people have trouble choosing things, because that means we did a good job, right? I don't like to make trouble for y'all. Andrew says, this is all Czech glass, right? That's Czech glass, or is some of that crystal? And then the black has just Czech glass in it, as Andrew's telling me as I'm going through these. I want to make sure I get everything right, though. Sylvia says, I'm loving all this Czech glass and crystal today. Yeah, we love to put Czech glass in stuff. You may not know, I've talked about it a little bit. Oh, the silver is crystal too. So I got to update all that. When we started Allegory Gallery, Andrew ran the store back then, but we had decided that one of the pillars of our store was going to be Czech glass. So gemstones, Czech glass, artisan items, those are kind of the things that, were some of the foundations of what we wanted Allegory Gallery to be. And so we are really hot on the Czech glass. So most of our inspiration kits all have some Czech glass strands. A lot of them are, at this point, vintage, if not antique. So lots of good stuff. So if you've not seen a lot of our kits, check them out. Go into our kit collection, the AG kit collection in the online store, and check those out, because we have a lot of kits available with a lot of beautiful Czech glass in them. Sometimes we add some crystal too, like these. All right. Now, last one. Last one, maybe my favorite. I don't know. I have a hard time deciding too. But I want to show you these seed beads. These are Czech seed beads as well. For those of you out there like me who like green, look at those colors. Yellows and blues and purples and greens in that mix. Beautiful mix. Diane says, I am now addicted to Czech Glass because of you. See? That's what all your dealers do, right? Get you addicted first. We're your Czech Glass dealer. But yeah, we love Czech Glass so much. Andrew says, we need to refresh our Czech Glass. I'd love to go up to the Pacific Northwest, oddly enough, where Twilight is based, to buy some Czech beads from one of our suppliers. That would be great, right? Donna says, me too, addicted. Suzanne says, wondrous. Cynthia says, let's just go to Prague. That would be nice too, right? I could cross the border into Slovakia and see where my family came from. That'd be pretty cool. First, I have to find out exactly where they came from. I think I have some maps on that. So you get these seed beads. Then you get these green pair of beautiful crystal, or Czech glass. That's Czech glass, I think. Then you get this large champagne strand. This strand is 17 inches, a 17-inch strand of champagne crystal, or maybe smoky quartz crystal, whatever you want to call that. Kind of both the same. This may be a little darker than champagne, at least in this light. And then you get this beautiful strand of Czech glass in green. That's sparkly, sparkly green. And then you get an Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter Special Edition toggle. We do not have these for sale. There were only a limited number of these made. So you get that. And this one comes with a cherry plywood wooden pendant instead of the acrylic. So this is a really pretty color. It's the cherry plywood from our laser. And you get that as the wooden pendant, as the pendant instead of the acrylics, in case you want the wood instead or in addition to. This will be available separately as well. This, however, is the one toggle that is not available separately. All right, so you have to buy the kit if you want that toggle. And that is those are the TGBE Fall Fest 2022 inspiration kits, 1 through 5. There are 5 different ones. We're going to be working fast and furious to show them all on our October 22nd TGBE date. But we're going to show you how to do stuff with some of those. I'm going to show you how to do stuff with some of those. All right. So there you have it. Let me put these back, and then I'll flip the camera back around. You know, hear that? Those beads falling into the bag. There's some ASMR for you, right? Andrew and Cynthia are ready to already take a trip to Prague to manufacture some custom designed beads. Jody says, we'll be hitting refresh on your site all night tonight. Hopefully you don't have to hit it all night. I should have these within 10 minutes here. Okay, I hope so. I just got to check some pricing and update a few descriptions apparently with Andrew, and we will have them up fairly quickly. I've already put the pictures in. I've made all the listings, got everything sorted out. I just need to check a few things, and they will be going up very quickly tonight. All right. Let me switch this camera around. One of these days, I'm going to have to feature request that they put in a button just to switch the camera quick. That would be so nice. So perfect. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. I hope you did. I hope you liked them. And please share these with your friends. Once this video is over, I will be, like I said, posting these to the online store, and then we will be sharing an email. We will be sharing, which I didn't write the email yet, so I'll take a little time to write the email. So you have a little bit of time to grab these before the email goes out. And we'll also be posting them to the Facebook page and the Instagram page. That's a lot of talking. I feel like I'm worn out. Actually, I have a little bit of energy, which is strange. It's fall. Fall gives me energy. Teresa said, this is my favorite, that last one, right? Very good. Let's see. Bonnie says, I am beating up one of your toggles right now. Awesome. Thank you, Bonnie. Make sure you, if you post a picture of that, tag us on Instagram or on Facebook. And we will also share that as well with our followers if you post publicly. We have some people on Instagram who are very good about tagging us, but they post to a limited audience, so we can't share stuff. So if you ever post stuff and you're like, why do they never share my stuff? If your account is private, we can't share on Instagram. So that would be why. Rana is asking, are those kit seed beads also available separately? Currently, no. Currently, they are not. So maybe in the future, we have talked about doing, and I don't know if you sent me an email, Rana. I have an email that I haven't gotten to yet. Somebody was asking about the seed beads we talked about doing. Whether they were somebody asked if they were being sold by the strand or the hank. They'd be by the strand. And we have not set the price yet, but we have not done that yet. So if we do something like that, we will do them in a live show with lot numbers, and we will do it then. But right now they are not available separately at this time. Let's see. Andrew says, mow the lawn. It looks like it's going to rain. I don't know if I'm going to get the lawn mowed. Each kit is fantastic, says Suzanne. Donna says, thank you so much, William and Andrew. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. All right, I'm going to go do this work so y'all can buy these if you want them. I hope you want them. And like I said, remember, we're going to be, Andrew said he started bagging them, but it's a pain for the seed beads. So maybe we'll have some soon. We'll see. I just lost track what I was saying. Anyway, we'll get these up for you. There are a limited number of each available only. And yes, that's what I was going to say. Remember, October 22nd, during the TGBE Fall Fest 2022, we will be taking these kits and Andrew will be showing you, maybe I'll be showing you, I don't know what's going to happen. We will be showing you, some of us will be showing you, one of us will be showing you some things to do with these. Andrew's going to create some projects with them and have some samples and show you some techniques and things to work with them. So get ready, get your kits, give us time to get them sent out to you. Our shipping helper is off for 2 weeks. So these may be slightly delayed. I'm trying to work on getting shipments out, but I'm falling behind on some things because we're doing a lot of stuff. So just know that if you've ordered and your order is taking longer than it normally does, that's why. We'll get back to everything once Barb is back. She will, I'm sure, plow through these. She's much quicker than I am at shipping. So we'll get these out to you before TGBE. We will. And then you can work along with Andrew if you want to, or you can watch him and then work on them later, or work on them now beforehand and show us what you did with your kits when we had the TGBE. There you go, right? All right, thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever it is in your neck of the woods, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, all right, Friday. And if you're local, don't forget, classes noon to 4 here at Allegory Gallery tomorrow. Bye, everybody.